Part 117. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1161. Chapter 1161. Some things should be done by any means. The next day, suddenly a news spread on the internet. A wealthy daughter had a disorderly private life. She had an abortion before she reached adulthood and even killed her own mother. The news spread like crazy. Soon someone said, "This is Sun Ying-er. And there is also a video. The video is of Sun Ying-er beating an old man." This hot search really exploded. When Sunian woke up and learned the news, she was really angry. Is there something wrong with these shameless guys from the Sun family? Using such a dirty trick, you have to know what will happen to the Sun family's face if my sister is found guilty of this matter. Sunian was really angry and didn't know what to say. She knows that some things have to be done by any means necessary. But you can't do this by any means necessary. Slightly humane. Li Baikan really found it a bit funny when he saw Sunian jumping up and down in anger. Well, Li Baikan knew very well that he couldn't laugh. But just because Li Baikan doesn't smile, it doesn't mean that others can't laugh. For example, Sun Ying-er. Sun Ying-er laughed directly. "I think those members of my family are really capable. Ha ha ha, I have never seen you like this. Even if Huo Linyuan is tossing something, you are not like this. The people of the Sun family are really capable of." Sunian looked at Sun Ying-er and didn't know what to say for a while. You have to use unscrupulous means to do anything. Now is the modern society. It is normal to use some modern society means to deal with me. They are forcing me to be obedient now. As long as I am obedient, then this can be clarified. If I go to them now, they will definitely act condescending and wait for me to apologize. After saying this, Sun Ying-er lowered her eyes and looked at the information below. If that's the case, then we will do what they want, and we will make them crazier and crazier. Sun Ying-er's words were understood by everyone around her. Li Baikan, who had been silent all this time, spoke at this moment. "Sister, what do you want to do? Just give it to me. I will do it according to your wishes and cooperate with you." After hearing this, Sun Ying-er nodded. Nian, didn't you find out what Sun Yan did? If that's the case, then you should release all the things about Sun Yan and put them in my body." Sunian immediately understood the meaning of Sun Ying-er's words. In other words, this will become a thunder, so when we do this, we must also publicize how outstanding the other daughter of the Sun family is. In this case, then the Sun family's thunder will become bigger and bigger. Sun Yan has always robbed her of her things over the years, and Sun Ying-er didn't care. She always felt that someone who could be robbed by someone like Sun Ying-er must not be a good person. But this Sun Yan specifically wants to rob Sunian and her own sister. This is intolerable and absolutely intolerable. Sun Ying-er felt that she had to teach this woman who didn't know the heights of the world a lesson. Let her understand what it means to be able to move things that shouldn't be moved, and people who don't want to think about it can't think about it. Sunian was very satisfied when she saw Sun Ying-er like this, and then she laughed. "My sister is still the smartest. Sister, you were a little too nice to those people in the Sun family before, making the people in the Sun family think you are easy to bully. Okay. It's just right to bully you so blatantly, so that those people can know how powerful you are. At the same time, it can also make people in the Sun family panic unless the Sun family doesn't know that it was Sun Yan's doing. Sun Yan will definitely not be in trouble no matter what." Just like that, it soon emerged that Sun Ying-er bullied others when she was in school, bought her place in college, and randomly snatched other people's boyfriends. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1162. Chapter 1162 The Sun Family's Madness. Sun Ying'er's matter is causing a lot of trouble. The people in the Sun family are also very happy now, so the atmosphere in the Sun family is very good. Especially the old lady of the Sun family. I knew that this Sun Ying'er was not a good person. You see, this Sun Ying'er has done so many things. It is really abominable. Now I really feel that having such a person in our Sun family is a shame our faces. Old MR's Sun is really proud now. She really feels that the world is on her side now, and Sun Ying'er is like a street rat. However, MR's Sun felt that as Sun Ying'er's grandmother, she must do something and she had responsibilities, so she could use this opportunity to teach that shameless guy a lesson. But the old lady didn't notice that there were still people with bad faces. Sun Zhuang was also very happy. I believe that girl Sun Ying'er will come to us soon. After all, now Sun Ying'er has become a street rat that everyone wants to beat. The old lady frowned when she heard this. Sun Zhuang, as a father, you don't discipline your daughter properly. If you discipline your daughter properly, then this kind of thing won't happen. Sun Zhuang, I want to, but I'm really busy and I don't have much choice. What are you busy with? You should have listened to me at the beginning and shouldn't have married Sun Ying'er's mother. If you had listened to me, then you would have been able to marry a famous lady. You would definitely not have such a daughter. This will not happen now. The situation, after all, is your business. You didn't listen to me, so you are like this. If you had listened to me, then this kind of thing would not have happened. Look at the children of your two younger brothers, but nothing like this has ever happened. When the old lady said this, she went to pull Sun Yan. Look, Yan has been by my side since she was a child. She has been very obedient since she was a child and will not cause trouble for us. How good she is now. If it were something else, Sun Yan would definitely be very happy. After all, growing up, her favorite thing was to step on Sun Ying'er hard, and she just liked others saying how she was better than Sun Ying'er. But, now. The reason for this is that Sun Yan saw what happened online. At the beginning, she was very happy. Until now, she saw that some things were done by herself, such as taking the place of others in school. Back then, Sun Ying'er, a little bitch, deliberately did well in the exam in order to make herself embarrassed. In order to prevent Sun Ying'er from succeeding, so Sun Yan tried to find a way to disappoint Sun Ying'er. But she said to herself in her heart that if this matter was really regarded as something done by Sun Ying'er, then she would be considered as taking revenge. But comfort is comfort. Sun Yan is still very sensible. She knows that Sun Ying'er has Sunian by her side. Behind Sunian is the entire Li group. If Sun Ying'er wants to retract her confession, it will definitely be easy. Now that Sun Ying'er and the others have done nothing, they must have some plan. Such a plan is like a knife on Sun Yan's head. The kind of knife that can fall down at any time is really scary. Especially when I saw the old lady in front of me scolding Sun Ying'er crazily. When it fell into Sun Yan's ears, it really felt like she was scolding herself. It was getting more and more scary. Sun Yan finally couldn't stand it anymore and said directly, "Okay, that's enough, you all shut up." End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1163. Chapter 1163 The Madness of the Sun Family, 2. Sun Yan's words successfully interrupted the two people who were talking. Sun Zhuang and the old lady turned back to look at Sun Yan. When he saw Sun Yan like this, he frowned. The old lady spoke directly, "Yan, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you want to say? Do you want to imitate that woman?" Look at what happened to Sun Ying-er. Sun Yan's body was shaking uncontrollably. The reason for this was that Sun Yan thought about why Sun Ying-er did this. Sun Yan didn't know about other things, whether Sun Ying-er had done anything, but bullying others, and enrolling in school for others were all things she did. She probably wanted to make a big fuss, and then blame everything on herself. Superior. In this case, he will become Sun Ying-er's scapegoat. This Sun Ying-er is really very scheming. But the key is what you should do and what you should do to disappoint Sun Ying-er. When the old lady saw that Sun Yan didn't reply to her words, she felt even more unhappy. After all, in the eyes of the old lady, she already had a granddaughter who didn't listen to her, and she couldn't let another granddaughter not listen to her. Then my position in this family is really not good. Immediately the old lady walked up to Sun Yanyan and said, "Yanyan, do you have ears to listen to me? Are you going to imitate that girl?" The more the old lady said this, the more she thought of Sun Ying-er, and the more angry she became. In such a situation, the old lady would of course vent her anger. Now this Sun Yan is an object to vent to. Immediately hit him with a slap in the face. But this slap did not fall on Sun Yan's face. But Sun Yan grabbed her hand. After being controlled by the Sun Yan, the old lady suddenly became uneasy. After all, even if a granddaughter is disobedient, why is this granddaughter also disobedient? What does this mean? Do these juniors want to rebel? Sun Yan, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Do you also want to do the same thing to my grandma as that dead girl? You really have had enough. Believe it or not, I will take care of you. I will take care of you. Beat to death. And you have someone to protect you? Are you like that dead girl Sun Ying-er? There is Sunian and Wang Nian behind you, so that you can deal with me, an old lady, and you even want to bully me and next to me. P. These words brought Sun Yan back to her senses. Yes, without Sunian behind her, she had no support. Even if this old lady did something to herself, she would not dare to say anything. Of course, Second Aunt Sun couldn't see her daughter being dealt with like this, so she immediately stopped in front of Sun Yan. "Mom, what's going on with you? You get angry when you're angry. Why did you hit Yanyan? Yanyan is the worst. Be obedient, the most filial. I know you are angry now, but you can't be like this." When Second Aunt Sun said this, she looked at Sun Zhuang who was standing next to her, with hatred in her eyes. "Brother, why don't you say anything? Do you really have no responsibility for the daughter you gave birth to like this? This is really too much, it's so hateful, I've never seen such a hateful person like you. If you can't discipline your daughter well, it will hurt all of us. Now that your daughter is like this, others think our daughter is just like you. Now you are really like a mouse, and then you ruined the whole pot of porridge." When he said this, he looked at Sun Zhuang fiercely. In fact, Second Aunt Sun has always had opinions about Sun Zhuang. After all, why can the boss win the title and control the family? End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Zhang Word. Chapter 1164. Chapter 1164 The Madness of the Sun Family, 3. Now for Aunt Sun. This is because Da Fang didn't have much ability and let himself find his fault. Having been bullied by this boss over the years, of course I have to do something, otherwise I will be bullied by this boss in vain. It's not good at all. Brother, are you really not going to give us a perfect explanation, or you don't want to do anything at all, and you are just watching our jokes behind our backs, your mother's jokes, and your mother being bullied by these people? When the old lady heard this, she looked at Sun Zhuang. Sun Zhuang frowned when the old lady looked at him like this. "Mom, what do you mean? Don't listen to other people's nonsense. I am your son, how can I harm you?" The old lady nodded when she heard this. I think this makes sense. Then he looked at Aunt Son, second son's family. What's going on with you? What time is it now? Why are you here to sow discord? How much benefits have you received from that dead girl Sun Ying? Give it to me, tell me, please give me a good talk. If you don't give me a good talk, then I will really. Second Aunt Son really didn't know what to say. Is there something wrong with this old lady's brain? Why do you think so? There is something wrong with her brain. Why did I become Sun Ying side? If this was really the case, I might have been beaten by Sun Ying long ago. Now that second Aunt Son is seeing Sun Zhuang and Sun Ying fighting, she feels more and more that this might be a ploy they made to monopolize the Sun family. The more this happens, second Aunt Son's heart became more and more angry, and she felt more and more that she could no longer sit still and wait for death. She had to do something too, but just when second Aunt Son was thinking this, Sun Yan's voice sounded again. Grandma, Mom, you really don't need to be so noisy. It's useless for you to be so noisy. Sun Yan continued, Grandma, actually I think we can't treat our sister like this. Even if our sister has done something sorry for us, she is still our sister. We really can't treat our sister like this. Sun Yan figured it out. It is better not to have this thunder explode on you than to have it explode on you. Sun Yan felt very uncomfortable, but even if she felt uncomfortable, it was of no use. The current situation was like this. Do you know what you are talking about? Are you really trying to me off? Your sister, your so-called sister, your sister has done so many things, she is just trash. If you can't pass the exam and go to school, just buy it. Such behavior is really obscene. It doesn't look at her brain. Even if she buys it, it will be of no use. After all, she has to go to school and can't learn high school knowledge. So if she still learns college knowledge, is her brain really good enough? These words really made Sun Yan not know what to say. Hummy face is really as ugly as possible. She did not realize that things were not that simple until she went to college. After going to college, I don't know any classes. The key point is why Grandma said this. Has this old lady forgotten that it was her idea to buy her own degree? In Grandma's words, it is enough for these low-class people to earn a little money. Why do you say this now? Now Sun Yan really suspects that this old lady has a brain problem. Maybe she has Alzheimer's disease. Yes, that's right, she has Alzheimer's disease, that's why she is like this. Sun Yan frowned when she thought of this. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Zhang Word. Chapter 1165. Chapter 1165 The Madness of the Sun Family, 4. Grandma, listen to me. Even if my sister does something bad, she is still a sister. Really, if we don't do anything, my sister's future will really be ruined. Are you really like this? Do you want to see your sister's future ruined? Unexpectedly, when the old lady heard this, she became even more crazy. Yes, I just want to see this dead girl, this ruin the future. Only in this way can I be worthy of the hatred in my heart. No, the unfilial people in this world deserve to die, all of them deserve to die. Second Aunt Son hugged Sun Yan at this time. Yan Yan, you are really kind. You are really too kind now. Sun Ying's little hoof did this to you, and you still think about her so much. You really so kind. Woohoo, it's my fault too. Why did I make you so kind? If I hadn't made you so kind, you wouldn't have suffered so much. Now that Sun Yan saw these two guys like this, she was really speechless. Especially my mother, has she really forgotten what she did? Why did you talk to Grandma so fiercely? Mom, stop talking. My sister is really innocent. We can't give up on her like this. We are a family. If we really do this, then I will really have a bad conscience after saying this. When she arrived, Sun Yan pulled on Aunt Sun's clothes. But Aunt Sun's mind at the moment was that her daughter was really wronged. I must seek justice for my daughter. Sun Yan is really anxious to death now. Mom, why are you delaying things at this time? Yan Yan, you are really a little too kind. Don't be so kind. Don't worry, no matter what happens, your mother will be there, and she will never let you be wronged at all. Sun Yan is really anxious now, as anxious as she is. At this moment, someone suddenly came in a hurry. When Sun Zhuang saw his secretary running in so hurriedly, he couldn't help but feel a thump in his heart, and then asked, "What happened? You are so frivolous. You have been with me for so many years. I remember that you have always been very steady. Why are you so frizzy? What happened?" At this time, the secretary said, "Mr. Sun, I think something is wrong." When Sun Zhuang heard this, his heart thumped subconsciously. But even so, Sun Zhuang now knows very clearly that he must be stable. If he is not stable, how will he convince the public if word spreads? What's wrong? Don't scare people like this. If you have something to say, just say it directly. What's the use of trying to scare people? The secretary said, "That's right. There are rumors outside that in order to move the old man's grave and get a good feng shui position, the young lady took over a house and even beat someone to death." These words immediately made Sun Zhuang's expression change. If it was something else, then Sun Zhuang would not be like this. The key is that Sun Zhuang clearly knows the authenticity of this matter and also knows who did it. This matter happened to Sun Ying'er anyway. The more he thought about it, the expression on Sun Zhuang's face turned bad. Go and suppress this news immediately. You must suppress this news. Of course the secretary understood what Sun Zhuang meant and left quickly. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Zhang Word. Chapter 1166. Chapter 1166. Do you think Sun Yan will let us go easily? The storm on the internet continues. But gradually some people discovered that something was wrong. Some people say that Sun Ying'er went abroad to play with women, or even with dead people. Some people say that Sun Ying'er and the wife of a company CEO. Various news. After listening to this kind of news, I feel that it is not something that Xu Ying'er can do. Sun Zhuang was really a little scared when he heard the news. In the past, he really wanted to use these public opinions to make Sun Ying'er come back honestly and be controlled by him, but it was also a bit measured. But as the public opinions on the internet became more and more, he found that he could make Sun Ying'er a target. In this case, you can get some breathing space. But as things get worse, he really feels a crisis now. Soon the secretary came again. "Mr. Sun, there is news that the young lady gave someone away to a senior official in order to achieve her goal." These words really made Sun Zhuang's face change. I immediately took out my mobile phone. Second Aunt Sun felt as proud as she could when she saw Sun Zhuang like this. This boss has been weighing on me for so many years. Now he is fine. God finally opened his eyes, ha ha ha. Even Second Aunt Sun wants to take a good look at the Sun village now. But before Second Aunt Sun could speak, she was grabbed by Sun Yan and pulled hard outside. "Mom, come out, I have something to say to you, something very important to say to you." "Yan Yan, what do you have to say? Why are you pulling me so hard? Why are you using such force? You are really going to hurt me." "Mom, what did you want to do just now? If I don't pull you, then what do you want to do? Please tell me carefully." Second Aunt Sun smiled and said, "What else can I do, of course, is to laugh at your uncle. Yan Yan, have you forgotten what I told you? From the time I married into this family, I have been bullied by your uncle's family. It's okay now. If your uncle is so anxious now, he must have had an accident. Ha ha ha, I think we can take advantage of this time. Sun Yan really didn't expect that her mother could be so stupid and couldn't figure out such a simple thing. Mom, others don't know, don't you know, Sun Ying'er got into college by herself, but I bought mine. Those things are all about me, don't you know? But second aunt Sun shook her head. How could I not know what you said? I just think that since there is such a thing sent back, then put all these things on Sun Ying'er. In this case, your life will be ruined. It can be done cleanly. In the eyes of second aunt Sun, her daughter is the best in the world, and that Sun Ying'er is her daughter's stumbling block. Now that he can ruin Sun Ying'er and help his daughter at the same time, such a good thing is simply impossible to find. Now second aunt Sun's ambition has become more and more serious, so she held Sun Yan's hand tightly. In these years, we have been bullied to death by your uncle. Your father, I really feel that your uncle is just him treated like a dog, so if we can, take advantage of this. What are you using? Use it, Mom. Do you have any brains? Do you know who is behind Sun Ying'er? You must know that there is Sunian. Do you think Sunian can let us go so easily? End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1167. Chapter 1167. You can't even protect yourself. If there is no Sunian, then Sun Ying'er will definitely follow her mother's wishes. But now she is only afraid. What do you think they are trying to do? They just want to kill me. This is a thunder, a huge thunder. If this thunder really explodes, then our whole family will be ruined. Aunt Sun's face changed when she heard her daughter say this. Yan Yan, are you joking? The matter is not as serious as you said, right? This matter is not. Sun Yan, fortunately, I caught you just now. If you really say something in front of the uncle and let the uncle pay attention to you, then the uncle will really send us out as scapegoats. What we have to do now, just stay away from here, stay away from yourself as soon as possible, if you are really here. Yes, 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 Yan Yan, you are smart. We can't be here. If we are really here, then your uncle can do anything. We can't be your uncle. When second aunt Sun said this, she pulled Sun Yan away. But after walking a few steps, I saw the old lady. When the two of them saw the old lady like this, their hearts trembled. Then the old lady said coldly, "What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?" Second aunt Sun said with a smile, "Mom, I suddenly remembered that there is something else at home, so I want to go back and have a look. I will come over later." After saying that, she planned to continue walking forward. But before he had taken a few steps, the old lady continued to stop him. This time the old lady directly cursed, "Do you think I'm a fool? You think I don't know what you want to do? We are a family, and I usually treat you very well. How could you treat me like this? You two just stay with me now and obey my orders." Second aunt Sun was not stupid. Of course she knew what the old lady meant, so she said directly, "Mom, do you think I don't know what you mean? I know, you just want to use us as a scapegoat. Let me tell you, don't think so, we won't do this. After all, no one is a fool." The old lady really didn't expect that her daughter-in-law, who usually listens to her words, would be like this. "I am really angry to death. You are really brave now. You dare to do this to me. You are usually so obedient, but now you actually say to me like this, okay, you are really good." Now even a fool can clearly see what this old lady means to stop her here, and now that the Sun family is in danger, anyone with a little bit of brains knows not to stay here any longer. Normally, you still have the nerve to talk about ordinary times. How good you are to us. If you are really good to us, then you shouldn't give all the benefits to me, Haha. The old lady is really angry now. The old lady feels that she must teach this woman a good lesson. If she really doesn't teach this woman a good lesson, then she will not exist in her eyes. Just when the two were about to fight, Sun Yan stopped between them. Okay, you two really stop making trouble. Grandma, I understand what you mean, but you are really old and confused, you don't even know that you are in danger now. If you don't do something, you will be finished. What do you mean? How can you talk to me like this? I am too old. You are talking nonsense. If something happens to me, you really can't bear the responsibility. Sun Yan sighed deeply. Those things about my sister's seizure of land, aren't they what you did, Grandma? Grandma, are you really not afraid of being exposed? End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1168. Chapter 1168 Sunian, we are here to watch a joke, do you have any objections? We are all in the same situation now. If something really happens, my uncle might really. When the old lady heard this, her expression changed. But the next moment, the old lady said directly, impossible, impossible, Sun Zhuang is not such a person. Sun Yan, don't talk nonsense, don't talk nonsense. If you really talk nonsense, then I will treat you. You're really welcome. Haha, Grandma, I'm just telling you why you are so anxious. I think you know very well what kind of person my uncle is, so Grandma, instead of scolding me here, you might as well think about it carefully. Way. Otherwise, you will become a stepping stone in the end. After saying that, he took Aunt Sun away. These old ladies were completely panicked. She thought about what she had just said. Now how to do? Does that Sun Ying-er really want to destroy the Sun family? The answer is, of course, yes. Gradually, public opinion reversed. Saying that Sun Ying-er had never done those things, it was all done by the Sun family, and they all did it, and put the blame on Sun Ying-er. This situation is really becoming more and more serious. The Sun family will be finished soon. Employees of Sun Group are also clamoring to resign, but they don't want to just leave, but want compensation. This makes the Sun family's company look like a pig's nest. Under such circumstances, Sunian and Sun Ying-er led Lu Jing to fight. According to Sunian, since everyone has done evil, then this evil person must be punished to the end, and everything must be perfect. Sun Ying-er looked at the company that was getting closer. It occurred to me that I had not been qualified to come here before. Grandma kept saying that it belonged to the Sun family, but even though she was the daughter of the Sun family, she had nothing to do with it. Since her father has no sons, this huge property of the Sun family may really belong to the second uncle's family or the third uncle's family in the future. She was a little unconvinced, so she went to talk to her father about it, but she didn't expect that her so-called father thought the same way. Actually, she really didn't have any ideas about this company, but she was still a little excited when she thought that it would become her own. In the past, I was just a commodity to the Sun family, a commodity that could be exchanged for resources for the family, and I had no qualifications at all. And now? At this time, Sunian held her hand. Sister, we will be as high profile as we want later. You're welcome. If you are polite now, you are sorry for yourself. You know, life is so short. When it's time to show off, you should show off hard. After all, if you don't show off, you won't have a chance. Lu Jing burst into laughter when he heard this. Sunian looked over immediately. Lu Jing shut up immediately after feeling Sunian's gaze, and then looked serious. Lu Jing used to really think that he was a dandy, a very kind of dandy, but now Lu Jing really feels that he doesn't understand that he is a dandy. Well, an ant is still an ant, and Lu Jing feels that he still has to learn from this ant. 3 other people appeared in front of Sun Zhuang. Sun Zhuang's eyes were red. He immediately said angrily, "What are you doing here? What do you want to do? Do you want to see my joke?" Sunian, yes, we are just here to see your jokes. Do you have any opinions? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1169. Chapter 1169. Sunian is so calm. Sunian was so calm that Sun Zhuang really didn't know what to say. And Sun Zhuang looked at Sun Ying-er. After all, Sunian, he had no solution. But this Sun Ying-er is his own biological daughter. No one can control how he teaches his biological daughter. Immediately Sun Zhuang looked at Sun Ying-er, and directly cursed, "What do you mean? Do you really want our Sun family to be destroyed? Let me ask you, if something really happens to our Sun family, what so-called benefits can you get? Do you have no brain at all when you are so old? Even if you don't marry Huo Linyuan now, you will marry someone in the future. You will not have a natal family in the future, and your in-laws will bully you as much as they want. No one will help you except your family. You idiot with a brain problem, why can't you even think of this? What's going on with your brain?" After saying these words, Sun Ying-er didn't feel angry at all, and the smile at the corner of her mouth didn't diminish at all. This made Sun Zhuang's face become increasingly ugly. "I plan to continue talking immediately." Just like that, Sun Zhuang cursed crazily. The current Sun Zhuang doesn't look like a president, it's like a small businessman by the market. "This company will be fine at this moment," Sun Ying-er finally spoke. Sun Zhuang looked at Sun Ying-er. "This company's surname is still Sun, but it's not your grandson, Dad, but my grandson, Sun Ying-er. It's still the Sun family." Sun Zhuang's expression really changed. You, what do you want to do?" Sunian sat next to him at this time. "Now, Mr. Sun, you also know your current situation. The Sun family continues to have thunderstorms, and your all cooperation will be blocked and funds will be cut off. If you do nothing, then the Sun Group will really be finished. Now it needs new capital, or the shares in your hand can be converted into cash. There is no other way but this. Now I can be the source of capital as long as you give all your shares to my sister, I will inject capital into you." Sun Zhuang was furious. "Sunian, what do you mean? Don't think you are powerful, you." "Sun Zhuang, you should think about it for a moment. The current situation is that your family is really full of holes. However, I have nothing to do, and I have not even taken any action. In this situation, in this case, are you sure you want to confront me head-on?" These words really made Sun Zhuang's face change. But Sun Zhuang is still not convinced at all. "Why is this happening?" Sun Ying-er spoke at this moment. "I know, Dad, you are not convinced, so if you are not convinced, we will continue. Anyway, we have nothing to lose. Let's see who can make it to the end." Sun Zhuang heard Sun Ying-er's voice and looked directly at Sun Ying-er. "You are a who leads a wolf into the house. If I had known this earlier, I should have strangled you to death when you were born, you bitch. Then you can strangle me now, come on, you can kill me now if you want, then you can come." Sun Zhuang immediately headed towards Sun Ying-er. Sunian and Lu Jing immediately wanted to get close to Sun Ying-er and protect her. Sun Ying-er also saw this, and she smiled and said, Nian, Lu Jing, don't worry, my dad doesn't dare to do anything to me now with his ability. After all, if he really knows how to do it, then he won't. It will be like this." End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1170. Chapter 1170. Sun Ying-er is really happy. Sure enough, Sun Zhuang stopped. Sunian understood what Sun Ying-er meant and immediately said, "Anyway, if someone touches my sister, I will touch that person 1,000 times. Not only will I remember it in this life, but I will also remember it in the next life." Sun Zhuang looked at Sunian when he heard this. Seeing Sunian's sharp gaze. Such a sharp gaze really made Sun Zhuang feel a little scared. The fear is indescribable. Even Sun Zhuang couldn't help but ask, "Sunian, I really don't know what you think. This Sun Ying-er has nothing to do with you. What's the use of being a dog like a mouse?" Sunian can understand why Sun Zhuang said what he said. Sunian also saw Sun Ying-er at this time. In her last life, she had been fighting against power for the sake of the Li family. The so-called intrigues, with no one she trusted around her, made her feel indescribably lonely. But this life is different. It is true that Li Baikan survived, and she no longer had to face a lonely night alone, but there is more than just love in this life, and Sunian's previous life was really lonely. It was also because of loneliness that Sunian wanted to seize everything. In this life, I will spend my whole life having fun with my favorite friends and lovers. Sunian suddenly understood the meaning of rebirth. Sun Zhuang, I don't know what you are thinking. Your brain may never understand my thoughts in your life. This is normal. You must know that I have strong power in my hands, and you don't understand it at all. It is possible to resist me, but there is no chance of resisting me. It is enough for you to understand this. As for the other things, your brain does not need to understand at all. Okay, Mr. Sun, don't waste any time. If you give all the shares and all the rights to my sister, then this company will still be there. If you really want to destroy everything, then we will walk." Sun Zhuang really didn't expect that this day would come to him in this life. But Sun Zhuang was really unwilling to do so. Not willing to have everything taken away in middle age. Sun Zhuang saw Sun Ying-er, "Ying-er, I am your father. Your mother is gone. I raised you by myself. Over the years, I have been both a father and a mother. Have you really forgotten us? How have we been dependent on each other all these years?" Sun Ying-er laughed when she heard this. It seems that his so-called father has really reached the end of his rope and actually played the emotional card. "Dad, when you said this, did you forget that I used to live with a nanny? Even for a few years, I couldn't see you more than a few times a year. Ha ha ha, you have forgotten all this. I really didn't expect that you had such a bad memory. With such a great memory, what qualifications do you have to manage this company? The company will definitely be ruined if it falls into your hands. As your daughter, I will definitely take good care of this matter and help you share the burden. Ying-er, I am your father, you can't do this to me, you can't do this to me." Sun Ying-er felt a little relieved when she saw her father like this, feeling that a great revenge had been avenged. "It's really great. Dad, what you mean is that you don't want to hand over this company. You think you can handle this matter yourself. If that's the case, then we'll leave first." When Sun Ying-er said this, she looked at Sunian. Nian, let's go, haven't you gone shopping for a long time? Let's go shopping for clothes." End of this chapter.